No one prepares you for the fact that you are going to naturally grow out of all the environments where you are most likely to make meaningful relationships. And the basic social fabric of our society is just not as well supported by local communities and local institutions anymore. Everything is online, everything is globalized, and it is just very easy to feel isolated to your immediate family, a couple of close friends, and the people that you would directly work with. It is not in the human social DNA to have to go out into massive societies and recruit very specific people to pull back into your little communities and turn that into something meaningful. Yet this is the exact advice you get when you ask or talk about how to make friends. I've never seen any other consistent piece of advice in any form other than go out into places where you can meet people. So what I want to do is share with you a very solid piece of psychology that I've actually seen help my coaching clients. There is no evidence backing for this. I did not pull this out of the textbook, but the psychological principle behind it is very sound, and it has helped the people that I've suggested it to. I've had a few people that are nice enough to let me guinea pig them with this idea, and it's helped, so maybe it'll help you. And it's actually very simple, but we're going to go into a lot of detail. So while we often hear that we want to look for people that have similar interests to us, what actually mediates relationships is shared experience. This is really easy to point out if you can think of any person that you don't really talk to that much anymore, but you can go down memory lane with really easily. This is the remember when conversation. Now, sometimes it gets a little bit awkward when you run out of memories, but that part of it is very easy. And it's not about whether the memories are positive or negative. It's just about the fact that they are memories that you built together. They are shared experiences that you were both a part of. But it's also true with non-personal relationships. So a really good example of this are military veterans. Two total strangers who are both military veterans can connect pretty easily off of that experience, because when you know someone else has served in combat, you know that they have gone through a very particular experience, the same very particular experience that you have. It is really nice to know that you felt the same sort of boredom or fear or frustration in the same environment for the same reasons from the same cause. That is a shared experience, and it is pretty much the building block of most human connection. Another simple example of this would be meeting someone who is from the same hometown as you, right? This idea that you grew up in the same environment, you're likely to have shared experiences together. Shared experience matter, not interest. This is a way more consistent predictor of relationships than charisma or interest or anything else I've ever seen in research. So how does it help to know this? Because you can't just go up to a stranger and start asking them for all of the experiences they've been through and then pick out the ones that, you have the most similarity between. The reason it helps is because it tells you where you want to put your attention when you are going out to meet people. Because let's review the basic way that people try and form relationships. They will pick something to do, like they'll go to a pottery class or a boxing gym or a comedy club, based on the fact that they are interested in it, and they will try to meet other people interested in those same things and meet them there and form relationships. They're basically using the interesting thing as bait, and then they kind of shark around the surface looking for people that are drawn to that bait and then try and attack them to form relationships. But it is the experience of going to the event itself that mediates the ability to connect with that person. The practical advice there ends up being, even if you're going out with the main goal to meet friends, you should switch your attention to make the main goal to experience the night. So instead of going to a pottery class and going, okay, I like pottery, other people who will be here will like pottery, so I'm going to try and make friends with these people, you're going to go to the pottery class and just give all of your attention on learning how to make a pot. You're going to soak up that experience of trying to understand the weird way of explaining things that the instructor is giving you. You're going to fail at making the pot the first time. You're gonna lose control of the clay and make one that cracks, but then make one that succeeds. You're gonna go through frustration and confusion and satisfaction without any concern about the people around you and trying to like them or trying to get them to like you. Because the class itself, the environment itself, the setting itself is what is providing the experience, and it's providing the same experience to everybody around you. If you take the time to start by just experiencing the thing that you went out to go experience, it gives you stuff to talk about that somebody else can respond with to me too. And even if they can't, they can just talk about how they reacted differently. Going through the same experience but reacting differently is a valid form of forming relationships as well. You don't have to be a hive mind all going through the exact same range and pattern of emotions. This is very different than at the end of the class going up to people and asking them what they thought about it. You're not looking for their opinions, you're trying to bring them back into the experience which you are describing to them. In other words, you don't want to talk about what you like about Game of Thrones if you find out that somebody else likes that show as well. You want to talk about how it felt to be watching the series finale live, because that is a moment that you can invite them back to that you two share together. Embrace the irony of going there to experience something, and then once that experience is under your belt, be willing to bring that forth to people and invite them to connect with you off of that. Experience, not opinions. Experiences, not interest. And obviously that works because of the psychology that I talked about before, but it also works because it takes so much pressure off of you. Because if your goal is to go out and experience something, you can't really fail that. You can't fail having a bad night or a good night. You can't fail having a weird experience. It's all something that goes in the history books. You can, however, of course, fail to go out and form a friendship with somebody. And that is an easy goal to fail because human relationships aren't that predictable. It's hard to just connect with people over, pure rapport or pure shared interest. And going from event to event, night after night, and constantly being disappointed with the reason you are going there just breeds pessimism. It breeds disappointment. And so it's a little bit of lying to yourself, of like pretending that you're not there to form friendships. Of course you are, but don't let that be the focus of your attention. Let the nature of sharing experiences with other people do the heavy lifting for you. It's really easy to overthink and worry about fucking up how, likable you come across as. It's impossible to fuck up just letting yourself off the hook and talking about what you went through as you were trying to make the pot. But of course, it's also really important to mention that there's way more than just this getting in the way of why it's hard to form friendships. The people that I have seen this work for are coaching clients of mine, which means that I have all of the privilege in the world to work with them on overcoming discomfort or anxiety or just the motivation to get their ass out of the door or even get them brainstorming about the kind of things they would want to go out and try. These are all relevant barriers to forming friendships. It's not just this one thing. So, don't feel like the last psychology hack on the planet failed you if you try to apply this and it immediately doesn't work out. So I'm not promising you'll make 1,000 friends overnight, but I think this is a really solid piece of psychology that can change the way you approach events. If you're curious about the coaching I mentioned, my website's in the description, but most importantly, thanks for watching. And if you end up trying this and you have a good or bad experience with it, let me know in the comments, come back and tell me, because I'd be really interested to see more people try this than just the people that I have specific long-term coaching relationships with. It really does help if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, especially if you want to see more stuff like this. So that's everything I have to say about it. Thanks for watching.